Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening, and I want to welcome you. This is an important event tonight in the life of our church. So I welcome you. I'm glad you're here, and I want to welcome you on behalf of all the individuals who came together to create this service that are noted up here on our screen. Before we get too far into our service, I want to just review real quickly our protocols that we have in place as we come out of this experience of the pandemic. Reminding you that mask is optional for those who are fully vaccinated. But we do ask those who have not yet been vaccinated to wear a mask in the building, particularly around unvaccinated children and when social distancing might not be possible. Remember that if people have a mask, it doesn't necessarily mean they're unvaccinated. For example, I am, and I wore a mask quite a bit today when I was in and out of some retail stores. Just ask the person next to you if they are wearing a mask, if they want you to put one on, and put a mask on for those individuals, just out of kindness and consideration. And same as if you are speaking to a child who's unvaccinated, that you know about, be sure you put a mask on. You might notice we've kind of spaced out the chairs so people can be social distanced while they're here. And we do have masks available at the back of the church if you are wanting a mask. So I'm going to just go a little slow here because I think we've got some folks still coming in. And before we get too far into our service, I don't want anybody to miss anything. So let us bring ourselves into a time of prayer. Finding ourselves in a place of peace, finding ourselves in a time and space of the presence, the divine presence that we know, that we embrace, that presence of love, that presence that is unceasing, that presence that is everywhere, and knowing that love is created in this situation, in this service tonight. Our service tonight is going to be about some ritual, and it's going to be about releasing. It's going to be about keeping. So in the middle of the service today, we will have an opportunity for you to come forward with one of your slips of paper, and you're actually going to put it into the bowl. And we'll go over this a little bit later again, but it's what you will want to release. So you might be thinking about that a little bit as you go through the service. What is it that you wish to release? The other piece of it, you have two pieces of paper. The other piece of paper is, what do you want to hang on to from this last 15 months or so? And that piece of paper you're going to keep with you. You're going to take that with you. So you've got two pieces of paper and a golf pencil in your little packet. And we'll go over that again later on. But that's what kind of the outline of our service is. In this moment right now, what I want you to do is to just have a little time in the silence in your own heart and think about what has been some of the losses for you in this last 15 months or so. And I want you to kind of hang on to that a little bit and hold that as you go through this service as well. What have been some of those keen experiences of loss for you in the last few months? And we'll talk a little bit more as we come around to the ritual. We'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. So the high points are, what do you want to keep? What do you want to release? And what are some of the significant to you? So we'll go ahead and get started. The service is going to consist of readings and songs, and readings and songs, and then some ritual, and then some more. So very soft, very gentle, very quiet service, which is our intention. And I'm going to start with a reading from Ecclesiastes, something we're very familiar with. And there we go. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 through 8. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war.
Please join, let's join together and sing Embrace It. We see the pieces
and your bit is on the screen. So when I pause, please affirm these words together. We come to this place to find peace. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to release fear. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to remember our strength in times of trouble. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to experience and express divine love. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to remember that we are protected by infinite grace. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to pray for healing. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to rejoice in our gathering and to mourn the loss, perhaps, of family and friends. We are enfolded in the presence of God. We come to this place to remember the words of Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. We are enfolded in the presence of God.
Is be not afraid. Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I will give you rest. You shall cross the barren desert, but you shall not die of thirst. You shall wander far in safety, though you do not know the way. You shall speak your words in foreign lands, and all will understand. You shall see the face of God and live. Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I will give you rest. If you pass through raging waters, in the sea you shall not drown. If you walk amid the burning flames, you shall not be harmed. If you stand before the power of hell, and death is at your side, know that I am with you through it all. Be not afraid. I go before you. I will give you rest. I
This is a reading called When We Breathe Together, written by Jan Richardson. This is the blessing we cannot speak by ourselves. This is a blessing we cannot summon by our own devices, cannot shape to our own purposes, cannot bend to our own will. This is the blessing that comes when we leave behind our aloneness, when we gather together, when we turn toward another. This is the blessing that blazes among us when we speak to the words that are strange to our ears, when we finally listen into the chaos, when we breathe together at last.
Next song is Breathe Through Me. And if you'd like to read the hymnal, it's number 246. Breathe through me, breathe through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, breathe through me, breathe through me, breathe through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, breathe through me, live through me, live through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, live through me, live through me, live through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, live through me, speak through me, speak through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, speak through me, speak. Oh, blessed Spirit, speak through me.
May the universe teach us to invest in wonder so that we might treat the world around us with a gasping strangeness it rightly deserves. May we make more mistakes than we could possibly account for, in poetic adventures that take us not from our purported smallness to promised prominence, but from gratitude into even deeper gratitude. May the fault lines beneath our certainties widen this coming year, leaving fissures of doubt and portals to the magic and other ways of knowing and other ways of being. May we find outrageous peace with our shadows, knowing they are not agents of our falling, but emissaries of new moments we have yet inhabited. May the soothing tunes of our planet wash the wounds inflicted by our attempts to be perfect, to be better than the other, and to be deserving, reminding us in soft symphonies that we are more magnificent than we could possibly imagine. May we find the grace to be stupid, the privilege to be wrong, the calling to lose our ways, the courage to be afraid. the strength to cry, the playfulness to not know why, the faith to doubt, and the presence of mind to be silent. May we learn to appreciate our many moments of implosion, seeing that in our breakdowns we are merely preparing our inner grounds for a blossoming of a different sort, and that the only thing that shines brighter than a star is a failed one. May we inhabit Edens of plenitude, filled with tattooed with those we love, those who love us, and those waiting to. May we know the joys and the secrets of fugitive as we make sanctuaries together. Ashe.
I'm grounded by faith, growing in wisdom, grateful for love in all that I am. Grounded by faith, growing in wisdom, grateful for love forever. Amen. Grateful for love, growing in wisdom, grounded by faith that all is well. So grateful for love, growing in wisdom, grounded by faith that all is well. We're grounded by faith, growing in wisdom, grateful for love in all that we are. Grounded by faith, growing in wisdom, grateful for love forever. Amen.
When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine.
We come now to the point, the point in our service of ritual. And as I said before, we've designed this as a time of release and reflection. A few moments ago, we asked you to hold in your heart any losses that you may have experienced these past 15 months or so. This will look different for each of us, but loss is a shared experience, a universal experience. It takes many forms. It looks different for every one of us. We each live life differently, and what may be difficult for someone else may not be so difficult for another person. And these losses may or may not have been related to COVID. They might be about the derecho and the loss of trees and landscape. It might be something else. Some friends of mine earlier this year experienced a miscarriage. Others have had cancer diagnoses, significant surgeries, huge health challenges, and even experienced death. Others have taken a hit to their income or perhaps to their job status. Maybe a loss of friendship due to political differences. Perhaps an annual community or family event was missed, or the heartache of separation felt most keenly at the holidays. Also, not all of our losses are known and obvious and may seem insignificant to another. The point being, we've all experienced loss. And as I mentioned, I invite you to think about those and remember those losses in your heart tonight. They are a part of the fabric of your being. They are unique only to you. Don't deny them. Don't cover them up. Painful as they may be, they are a part of your story. They are part of what makes you. So I invite you to pause just a moment. Let's take just a little bit of quiet time as you think about that and you claim those stories. You claim those events. And this is one that you're going to hold in your heart. You're just simply going to hold this one. And yet, it hasn't been all bad. If you haven't already done so, take a moment right now to write on one of your pieces of paper as we come out of this time. And tonight is the beginning for us as a congregation of coming out of earned. Was there something that you unexpectedly enjoyed? Did you delight in a new skill or a completed project? Did you strengthen a relationship or start a new one? Being pushed out of your comfort zone just a bit? How was that? I, for one, enjoyed the quiet times on our deck last summer, just sitting among our plants. I've gotten books read, rooms a bit more organized, and I got to know my neighbors better as we shared food from our quickly thawing freezers and refrigerators after the derecho. I became quite adept at Zoom and other technology. I missed going out to eat, but I also discovered that my Indian butter chicken was as good as any restaurant's. So whatever you've written down, whatever you want to take, use a slip of paper and write this down. And this is for you to take with you tonight. This is for you to take home, put it somewhere where you're going to see it. Something that you're going to remember. That whole experience had a little bit of a silver lining. There was something in there that was good, that was okay. And finally, we come to release. And that's what we've got here in front of us. There's a bowl of water, and you've got some slips of paper. So this last second slip of paper you're going to use is what you want to release. And you can write more than one idea on your piece of paper. But what are you willing to let go of from these past months? Perhaps it is fear. Perhaps it's worry, anxiety, sadness. Perhaps it's simply chafing at the feeling of isolation and separation. Perhaps you just want to put it all behind you and start over. Is it the masks, the restrictions on physical contact? I know for myself, the first time I got a hug a couple of weeks ago, that was a big deal to me. So perhaps that's something that I would choose to let go of, would be not being able to have physical contact. Maybe you're just tired of COVID taking center stage every time you turn the news on and making the headlines. So my invitation to you is that this is your opportunity to let that stuff go tonight. And what you're going to do when you're ready is you're just going to come up and you're simply going to put it into the water bowl. So we'll end up with just kind of this mush of everything that we've released. And after the service is over, we're just going to ball it up and we're going to throw it away. So when you're ready, just come up and drop your slip of paper into the water. While you're doing that, I'm going to read a poem, and then there are also grief cards on the table here, and you're welcome to take one of those home with you also when you come up. So just choose a card, and you're welcome to take that up as well. So Tom's going to continue to kind of quietly play. You take some time in your a blessing. When the rhythm of the heart becomes hectic, time takes on the strain until it breaks. Then all the unattended stress falls in on the mind like an endless increasing weight. The light in the mind becomes dim. The things you could take in your stride before now become laborsome events. Weariness invades your spirit. Gravity begins falling inside you, dragging down every bone. The tide you never valued has gone out, and you are marooned on unsure ground. Something within you has closed down, and you cannot push yourself back to life. You have been forced to enter empty time. The desire that drove you has relinquished. There is nothing else to do now but rest and patiently learn to receive the self you have forsaken in the race of days. At first, your thinking will darken, and sadness takes over like listless weather. The flow of unwept tears will frighten you. You have traveled too fast over false ground. Now, your soul has come to take you back. Take refuge in your senses. Open up to all the small miracles you rushed through. Become inclined to watch the way of rain when it falls slow and free. Imitate the habit of twilight, taking time to open the well of color that fostered the brightness of day. Draw alongside the silence of stone until its calmness can claim you. Be excessively gentle with yourself. Stay clear of those who are vexed in spirit. Learn to linger around someone of ease who feels they have all the time in the world. Gradually, you will return to yourself, having learned a new respect for your heart and the joy that dwells far within slow time.
I would like to share with you now a prayer that was written by the Reverend Dr. Frederick Streets. The title is Again. We will laugh again without caution. We will smile again without constraint. We will embrace again without defense. We will speak again without muted sounds. We will again, side by side, look at the stars. Again, we will gather in places and spaces unsoiled by anxiety and fear. We will freely breathe again, deeply again. We will dance again with our cheeks close enough to hear our whispering to one another. We will mourn again openly. We will greet each other again closely without suspicion. Children will hug us again, and we will hug children again. We will invite solitude again, too. We will imagine again without desperation. We will again feel the joy that hope brings. We will play together again. We will sing together again. We will cheer together again, and we will pray together again. We will feel each other's hands and arms again tomorrow. Tomorrow, again.
The love in me beholds the love in you. The joy in me beholds the joy in you. The light in me beholds the light in you. We are one in the peace of the Lord. The love in me beholds the love in you. The joy in me beholds the joy in you. The light in me beholds the light in you of the Lord.
In closing, I want to thank you all for being here and for joining our hearts together as our first time back in the sanctuary. It's pretty lovely. You can do that too. And then out in the hall, there is a basket for the love offering so that we're not passing that hand to hand quite yet. All right. And I would like to have us all read together a blessing that I've read many times over the last few years when we were deep in searching for our future. And it is printed on the inside of your hymnal. So if you are wanting to read it again sometime, all you have to do is open that Wings of Song. We don't have those in our chairs yet until we are more open in our communicating with one another, but it is printed up there on the screen, and it is written by a wonderful poet. I thought I did get to meet him down at the village one time, James Dillett Freeman, and it will be our final blessing for tonight. And if you'll just take a big deep breath and just read it along with me. Together, this is God's house. May we who come here not only find out about God, but find God. May there be beauty in this place, but especially may it be a place where all become aware of the beauty in themselves. May this be a place of worship, place of prayer. And for us who worship and take instruction and sing and pray, may this always be a place of inner stillness, where we may listen and hear when God speaks. May whoever ministers here minister in love. May whoever teaches here teach truth to this house in expectation and go forth with thanksgiving. And may anyone who comes needing help go feeling blessed. Amen. So it is. The last verse. Sorry. That was a pretty good place to stop. But may this be such a house that Jesus Christ or any stranger, even one of the least, would feel in it that they were here with friends. Amen.